So a little bit about myself, and this is what Brian talked about it. So I'm not going to add more to it. This is exactly my background here. Uh, I'm a media expert at San Jose State, which means I'm not the only one. There's like another wonderful group of professors who will answer questions from media about technology. Anything you think about it for the new technology, each one of us are specialized in a certain field. So my field is the emerging technologies, blockchain, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, and so on. This is my first book, and it's actually on all those universities' shelves. The libraries got the copy of the book. Library of Congress always added to their collection, and it's won an award in 2019 in the Annual Author and Artist Award by San Jose State. My next book, my second book, published during the pandemic in 2020, and found its way to the universities you see in here. Beside, San Jose State. San Jose State always get the first copy. So let's dive into the topic itself. I did a lot of research about COVID-19 impact, on technology, and one of the biggest things you can see as a result of COVID-19 is the uh, factor of acceleration. What does that mean? It means COVID-19, the pandemic itself, accelerated some of those technologies faster than the speed we have seen in the past few years. This is translated into a wide use of it. This is one thing. Number two is a big advertising for those technologies. Things that we used to do in 5 years, we did it in 5 months and 5 weeks. The most of the people get used to tools and technology that they never thought in their life that's going to happen. Yesterday I was looking at a report about 80% of the workers, staff, they don't want to go back to the office full time. They want to have the option of doing full time, part time, which is hybrid. They want to do some virtual and then in the office. This is unimaginable in the past. People look at it as this is not acceptable. Now it is part of our life, and this is all because of they taste it, they try it. It's really improved so many of the factors there. So the COVID-19 as a test for the companies and for the organization was actually testing their readiness, how ready they are for this kind of tough times. A lot of companies went out of business because they don't have their virtual existence. I mean, companies that couldn't survive because they couldn't find a way to reach their customers and communicate with them and give them the same services. The movie industry, suddenly they found out that streaming is something that could be considered instead of waiting for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to have the movie as part of their streaming services. Now it can be on the same, can be in theaters and can be also on the streaming services. So this is just an example about it. Building the infrastructure to support the digitized world and staying current with the latest technologies is essential for any business to stay and to survive in a test like this. With all the horrible things that happen with COVID-19, one of the few things you look at it and say, at least we really open our eyes and see that the technology can help us. I consider it as the ultimate catalyst for digital transformation. And if you ever check the term digital transformation, it's a wide term, covers so many things. Digital transformation could be something like the DocuSign, the service that you use it to sign your document instead of scan it and print it, scan it, and then you can email it. This is just an example of this. Look at the health sector. Having a video call with your doctor is common now. In the past, they say, no, I want to be there. I want to see the doctor in person. So this pandemic pushed us and shrunk the time for us to do the digital transformation. We're looking at it in 5 years, and some of them is more than that because of we need that. This is necessary for us, and it's going to have a lasting effect, and we're going to see that. Facebook decided to bring their part of their employees in May back to the offices. Same thing with Google. They're not going to bring everybody back, and you can think about the cascade impact of this for the environment, the social, so many things are part of the impact of a big test for everybody on this planet when it comes to COVID. And the while this pandemic has forced many businesses, a lot of businesses went out of business. Why? Because they were not ready, they couldn't handle it, they couldn't survive. A lot of people lost their job because of that. uh, the the only positive part of it, if you want to call it positive, is accelerated the development of several emerging technologies. I'm going to have a slide that will summarize all of them, and then I'm going to dive deep into each one of the technologies and give you some insight about why I think this is really the 8 technologies that will help us in a post-COVID-19 world. Some of the application you see, which is reducing human-to-human contacts, automated processes, increasing the productivity with social distancing. All of these things will be helpful there. So let's look at the diagram. The diagram itself is talking about 8 technologies: artificial intelligence, cloud computing, virtual reality, augmented reality, 5G, VUI. I will explain it's VUI, Internet of Things, IoT, cybersecurity, and blockchain. It doesn't mean that other technologies are not. The list of technologies you see in the screen, they've been accelerated by the impact of COVID-19. The other technologies are following up. They're still going on their own, momentum, but those technologies impacted big time by it. Artificial intelligence, there's no question about that. Without artificial intelligence, we're gonna, none of the Series or Alexa or anything we're going around this is gonna happen. But that's not the only part of it. That's sometimes we look at it and say, I don't need that. By 2030, AI product will contribute $15.7 trillion to the global economy. When we talk about contributing to the economy, it's by many things: by reducing the cost, increasing the productivity, all of these things, you add them together, you're going to have an impact like this in 10 years. The number of technological inventions like intelligent data processing, face and speech recognition. Google just announced one of their new products called Memory. You can Google that one. That one will help you through the AI, so as a second memory for you, so you can focus on the important part. You don't have to have all this going on in your head. They have one of their products 2 years ago called Duplex, which is an AI assistant that will talk to you like human. An example of this, just to give you a sense of how that applied at the levels like Google and many other companies. In the University at San Jose State, if you go to any of the websites of the services like the Registrar or on one of the department, you'll have a chatbot that will pop up and ask and try to help you. It's not the chatbot as before, which is this kind of a box, which is very simple questions. It's a binary yes or no. It's now getting sophisticated. It's getting to the point where it can answer, complicated questions and give you links and give you some kind of direction where to go. Consumer behavior will not going to be the same, because a lot of people find out that online is better for them. Companies like Amazon and companies, companies that deliver like DoorDash and the other companies, they discover this is their opportunity, and this is where a lot of people just turn their attention to the online and services. The same thing working from home. It's very effective. 98% worked better, this according to a recent statistic, while they are at home. Yes, you are not the same as in the office. You're losing that social interaction, but you are really more. If you work more. I work more. As an instructor, as an advisor at San Jose State compared to when I go and drive all the way to the school. There's so many wasted, segment of time because of the travel, because of the distraction happening in the office. Companies begin to navigate the post COVID-19 as economy slow down. For example, I have 2 numbers here. Target is hiring 130,000 new employees, most of them on the online, on the e-commerce. And Target did a wonderful job. I have to give them a credit for this, because it's one of the few companies that realized this one a long time ago. Another company is Walmart. Walmart is now becoming a tech company. It's not a retail company anymore. They have a lab here in the Silicon Valley on the peninsula. Some of my students work there, and it's really dealing with a high level of AI. And Amazon is hiring another 100,000. This is, and those are permanent jobs, not at the level of delivery. It's basically they would like them to be there to support their online services. The retail and the supply chain will help, will benefit from that. Machine learning and advanced data analytics AI will help companies understand the purchasing pattern, the new purchasing pattern, because people now buying online things that they never bought online, and so the model itself has been set up for years. You have to update it because now you know that people are ready to buy, they're ready to explore new option for that, and you have to improve their experience. And this is why you see a company like Amazon is hitting over $1 trillion. Why? Because the king of the e-commerce. There's no question about that. Some of the tools used there is like the pattern analyzer, or the predicting the human behavior and recognizing the images and the human speech, among many things that will help when you are using AI. And it's improving. It's really improving over time. These capabilities will extremely be very valuable for the companies when they are adapting, to the next norm. And the next norm is going to be learned before COVID-19. There's a big difference there. You have to accept the hybrid universe we are living with now. The forecasting is another part of that, which is predicting what the customer is going to buy, how they're going to buy it, where they're going to buy it. All of these things are part of that. And the chatbots, I talked about them a few minutes ago. Many companies now consider this one as one of the solutions. It's not just a simple program you have it, which is available online. You can just have simple thing connected to a tree of decisions where you can say yes, no, it's no. It's now becoming a sophisticated one that's evolved over time. You can use it for everything because I don't want to talk to a human. I want to talk to a machine that will take me through the process. So AI is the first technology that benefited from the acceleration of technology when it comes to COVID-19, and it's gonna flourish, in a post COVID-19. Nobody can question the comeback of cloud computing. Cloud computing, and I teach a class in cloud computing. Uh, Look at what we are doing now. We have Zoom. Zoom went from 26 million users to 300 million users in 90 days. Cloud computing now becoming one of the hot technologies as before. You're talking about 10 years ago, a hot topic. Everybody want to have the Amazon Web Services certification and all these kind of things about cloud computing. Schools are adding this class to their curriculum to catch with it, and then it start becoming, a plateau. It's the same level. There's now no excitement. It's basically the big player there, and Amazon and Microsoft and Google and IBM. But now it's coming big. Now we look at the number by Microsoft. They reported 775% spike in cloud services demand from COVID-19 during that period. And they said that we cannot have a marketing campaign that will give us this percentage. Same thing went with Walmart. Same thing with Target, and also the big winner in the whole picture, which is Zoom. They went like crazy, this because of the way they are presenting how they understood the consumers and how they make it so easy for people to use that platform and make sure that it is really adopted everywhere. One more point about the cloud computing, I want to just add to the picture here. Oracle, they re-enter the cloud computing arena by doing two steps. One of them is they are the cloud services provider for Zoom. So this is one big thing. And the other thing, they are their intention to buy TikTok. Those are the two major icons for the COVID-19 era. And they're coming back. They realize that the cloud computing is here to stay, and it's going to just grow. As the virus spread, people were forced to work from home, and online learning models were implemented. Video conference everywhere. You're talking about Zoom, you're talking about WebEx, you're talking about Skype, you're talking about all of these different video conferencing services. Actively upgraded their function and provided resources to meet the demand. Moving forward, this is going to continue, maybe at not the same level that we have seen it, because that's the only option for you. But now I notice that, and I don't know if you guys and ladies notice that, but sometimes when I'm communicating with somebody, we have two options. Do you want me to call you or send you the link? So it's acceptable. I mean, having a background, which is not bad, it's okay. Not being, formally, looking at that person, it's okay. People accept this one. In the past, video conferencing expose your private, location and all. Now it's fine. It's fine. Nobody's worried about this. We had this culture shock at the beginning, and after that one, they say just I'll send you the link and we can talk. The demand for this technology continue to grow. Implementation of this technology in the mobile application will make it easier. So many of my students, I did a survey. I have 35 students in that class. 5 of them are listening to my lecture on their phones, and there's no difference in the experience. It's exactly the same experience, and this is a sign of a good company, because it doesn't matter what platform we are using; it's going to be the same experience. The third one is talking about the VR and the AR. I will admit it. I never, I never been a big fan of the VR, especially the VR, because it's actually isolate you from the environment around you, unless it's a specific application like gaming and some education and some kind of a tourism or something like this. We have a university here in the Silicon Valley. They gave the new students in 2020. They gave them a VR kit with pictures with actually software that you once you have that goggle in your eyes, you can walk in the campus. You can talk to people as if you have the same experience. Very expensive, tool. They give it to them so they can compensate from them not being on campus. But the VR is there. I mean, this is another technology that being pushed and accelerated so it can offer more services. I'm a big fan of the AR, the augmented reality, which is imposing the virtual object on real life. You can still have connection with everything around you. At the same time, you can see those virtual objects. Will be good for education, and it's actually used. When you talk about the VR platform during the development of the virus, the vaccine for the virus, and the research and the potential treatment, those companies, they use the VR just they can communicate with each other because nobody can fly during that time. So that's another direction here where what technology can help us beside video and sound. Can we have something which we can share that object, turn it around, zoom in, zoom out? Here comes the VR, here comes the AR. So they're going to benefit from this, and we're going to see a lot of application coming there as an added value of this. Facebook is working on that. Apple, they have their own goggle or glasses which called View, and the same thing with Facebook. They have it. They just would like to make sure that it's really you know uh, giving the service that people looking for and understand that. And the 5G, 2020 supposed to be the year for 5G, and I was excited about it. Everybody who in this field understand that what is 5G means to us. It means that I don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi. I don't have to worry about the connectivity. I don't have to worry about the limitation. You're talking about something at least 10 times the value or the speed of the current network. And we have COVID, and COVID just delayed the whole process until the close to the end of 2020, and that gave companies time for deployment, testing, instead of rushing everything to the market. And it's the future, at the future of communication. There is no question in that. Just a simple example, just to understand why uh, I'm excited about 5G for many reasons. One of the application is you have those emergency vehicles, the ambulance taking somebody from an accident location to the hospital. That's about what, 5-10 minutes. During that time, using the 5G, the doctor can do a lot of those kind of checks and X-ray and all the things that cannot be done when we're talking about 4G. They have to wait until they get there. They have to do the things that which is people only on that vehicle can do that. But the doctor can have that big bandwidth where they can act on on the patient or the injured person, at the while they are driving. So that's going to save life. This is just an example of some of the application of 5G. Another one is at home. Everybody's fighting for the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is going to start slowing down. You can have your 5G, just switch the data, and you get that connectivity without any problem with that. So you can do your work, you can have multiple activities going without worrying about the bottleneck that created by many users for the same technology. So the 5G will be there. 5G started, and it started a long time ago. People are talking about it, and also we're talking about 6G, which is in 2030, and that's going to be a different technology. And it's completely a different technology that depends on the reflection of the different services around you. It's not something that can blanket there. So without going to the technical details, but if you're interested in this one, I can send you some of those research done in that one. But that's another part of the of the 5G deployment. A large number of people have been forced to be isolated, increasingly working from home, studying. I don't have to look for a hotspot. I can use the connection here. People have now realized the need for faster data and big bandwidth and capacity. And we hear about the story, people going to places like Taco Bell or McDonald's so they can get the Wi-Fi so they can do their homework. We don't need this one. You have that connectivity, and that's what you need. You don't need anything beside that. Another interesting technology, and to be honest with you, I've been talking about this since 2017. I remember that conference where I was presenting about what the technologies will be there in 5 years. I was looking at this one, and I mentioned VUI, and the whole story about the VUI is we are used to the graphical user interface, the GUI. That's if you're in that field, you understand what I'm talking about. The concept of the voice user interface is really an interesting concept, and we are using it whether we know about it or not. But COVID-19 gave us another reason to go with the VUI instead of the GUI. We touch an average our devices 2,600 times a day, and you don't want to have this because you're worried about the virus, you're worried about spreading this. So that's the voice user interface will solve that problem. You go to the elevator, you just talk to the elevator. Your phone, you talk to your phone. Services will be through voice, no touching. And what is amazing about this is 80% of our communication is actually done through verbal communication. 80%. You're talking about 80%, and the other 20% is the other senses. And the technology companies ignore this for the longest time until they realize this. You have Alexa, you have Siri, and the Gen Z and the millennial, they understand this. They are aware of this one. That's why most of the things setting their schedule, asking questions, all done by voice. And even the sci-fi movies, if you look about sci-fi movies, you're going to see R2D2, C3PO, Jarvis, all of them. What exactly happened? They don't even touch them. They just talk to them, and they do whatever function they want. So now they're focusing on that 80% that missing in the communication, and that is a technology. Now it's going to be accelerated and move forward faster because of the health issues more than anything else. TV, the same thing. Game consoles, the same thing. Xbox do this. Google do this. I have my smartphone. I say breaking news, and boom, it's there. No need to go and search. It's all voice. So this is entertainment. Light switches, appliances, cars. The same thing. I have cars that only run if it's your voice. If it's somebody else's voice, forget it. Unless you add that driver or give them a special code. So this is going to be another technology we'll be looking at when it comes to post-COVID-19. The sixth one is the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things, and I wrote a book about this. Everything is connected around you. I'll give you a simple example just to have the whole picture of the Internet of Things. And I've been asked that question many times. And I remember one of the reporters were asking me, can you give me an example for the Internet of Things for the average person? You wake up in the morning, you look at that smart mirror, and the smart mirror will analyze your face. They're going to say, you look horrible, you look sick, I already have an appointment for you with the doctor, Uber is waiting for you outside, I moved all your meetings to next week, you need to go now. You go to the doctor check you, and then they have a prescription sent to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy will send the medication using drones, scan your biometrics, and give you that medication. That orange container that you receive from the pharmacy will be a smart one. If you open it and take one, a signal will be sent to the doctor saying one is out of the container. If you swallow that pill, another signal will say he or she swallowed one. So there will be like a, like in continuous information about you. Another example, a smart forks, the forks that we are using for eating will be smart, where you dig it into the steak or the food, and the fork will analyze it and tell you this is not good for you based on your, health records, or this is not the right way to eat it. You have to move it right and left. So this is another example. The other one is have an IP address for every vital part of your body. The doctor can hack into that and check it before you go and see the doctor. Another one is having smart beds where the lights will be turned off completely and when everybody is asleep. So this is the whole story of the Internet of Things. And the interesting thing is everything around you is connected. It's a sensing, acting. That's the simplest definition for this. We're almost there. All these devices you see, Alexa and Siri and Google Home and Apple Home, all of them are the hubs for the future IoT devices. You buy something, it's compatible with that brand. You have a car, they can ask you Android or iOS. You want to have an iPhone, or you're going to have the Android. Companies know that there's a big market for this. There is no question about it. And because there is a lot of market for that, they would like you to have their own hub. And they should sell it to you very cheap. This is a very expensive, high-tech, piece of technology. Now, in 2019, we had the 26 billion IoT devices estimated by that website. This will increase to 30 billion devices in 2020, and we had that number. And by 2025, we're going to hit 75.44. The market value is 150 billion. We estimated 15, and you can count the devices at home in the US, IoT devices for a person in 2030. So you're going to have 15 devices that belong to you. And an IoT device is any device with an IP address. That means it can be connected to the internet and communicate with the internet. Another aspect of Internet of Things, which is companies like Tesla, they love it, is something called edge computing. And edge computing is a technology which is, it's really a high competition between the big names. You're talking about Microsoft, Intel, Dell, Google, you name it, all those big companies that deal with the hardware. The edge computing is moving the decision-making process close to where the action is. Translation of this, instead of having a big data center sitting somewhere in another state or another country, where if there is something happen, you have to send it through the internet to that center, and then you have the answer. Why don't we have small devices that's scattered all over the place based on the understanding of there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of Tesla in this area, there's a lot of companies, a lot of customers in this area, and then if the decision is a simple decision, then they can make that decision right away. If it's need more attention, you have to send it to the data center. It's like the local government or the state and the federal. The federal will deal with certain things. You don't have to be bothered with every single thing happening in the state. The state will take care of it. And this is a welcome thing for companies like Tesla, because Tesla is a computer, on a wheel. So they need to have that decision right away. And this is going to be very helpful. There is another name for edge computing, which is something called fog computer, FOG. And Cisco is the one who coined that. Cisco actually the one who came up with the whole concept in the early 2000s. The whole thing about it is the cloud is high. When you are close to the ground, we have the fog. So when you are close to the action, this is where they have this kind of term coming to the picture. So that's we're going to have a lot of increased uses here. The number 7 is cybersecurity. I don't know how many of you heard about the recent cybersecurity breach, but there's a lot of them. There are so many famous ones. Verkada is a local company. It's a camera. It's a cloud-based camera that got hacked, and 150,000 of their camera being accessed by hackers. And They give this service to so many of the universities, colleges, schools, K to 12, jails, hospitals. One of their customers is Tesla, just for example, uh, and they hacked into that. Another one is you're talking about the Equifax hack. Half of the population of the adult population of the United States, their information being stolen. The other one is you're talking about Target, and or happened in 2014 when Target, system they been hacked. Why? Because the head of the tech of the IT at Target decided to combine the heating and cooling and ventilation system with the computer system dashboard, and that gave access to the hackers. Another famous one is that hotel in Las Vegas. I'm not going to name it. Uh, and that hotel being hacked through a fish tank. If you go to any of the hotels, some of the hotels in Las Vegas, they have one side of the reception area, the lobby is basically a big fish tank. So the IT protected all the access points except the one with the fish tank, because it's a huge fish tank. You need to have information about temperature, about food for the fish, and they forget to protect that that access point to the internet. Hackers went through that and spent at least 2 months gathering all the information about the guest, the high ballers, everybody there. So for 2 months being doing this in that hotel. I can go on and on about so many examples of this. So cybersecurity is a big thing. And cybersecurity created, as a byproduct of this one, in the dark web, where it's an area where people can sell everything. Basically, everything you think about it can be sold there for the cheapest price. When I'm teaching the class about cybersecurity, I have a list for prices of the different products on the dark web. For Social Security for $1, passport for $1,000, depends on the country. A degree could be something close to $400. You will find it. All the data is there. For your information, those companies like Netflix and on Google and the other companies, if they wanna check something happened or some leak or somebody breached their system, they go and watch the dark web. If they see people are selling passwords in bulk for services like HBO Max or for Netflix, they know that there is a breach. So they look at the after fact, and then they go back and say, okay, we've seen people selling it, that there's something wrong happen with our systems. California enacted a privacy law, which is CCPA, and that was in effect in July of last year. It's going to protect the privacy of the user, so your data cannot be sold without your permission. That's why you go to those websites, you're going to see a banner at the bottom, at the top, asking you to give them permission, or have the cookies into your system. GDPR is the European Union version, which is more strict about protecting the privacy of the companies, of the citizens, not the companies, against the companies. The lockdown, when millions of people are forced to work remotely, there is so many other factors of this. I'll give you an example of this one in a very simple way. I don't know how many of you remember that famous hack for Twitter, where the the hacker, what they have done is they hacked into the verified account of famous people, and they start sending tweets about asking for cryptocurrency. There are actually few young people did that. They did not actually hack into the system. They did something called social engineering, which is they've been playing online games with some of the employees of Twitter, and then they got enough information. They contact them as part of the tech support of Twitter, and they convince them to give them the credential, which is the username and the password. And this is how they managed to get in. And because everybody's working at home, they want to make sure that any call, any request from a company, you fulfill that one, because you don't want to be, perceived that you're not doing your job. So this is just an example about why cybersecurity will gain a lot of momentum. There is an increase about 35% of the spending of companies on cybersecurity, and I'm happy to see that. Because many times when I'm sitting with the different advisors or startups, I'm telling that you should not consider cybersecurity as an afterthought. Cybersecurity should be part of the DNA of any product you are making. You don't build a house and then have a fence against it. So you have to design it in the way which can handle any kind of breaches, leakage. You have to have it as one of the parameter of the design. It's not a layer you're going to add it at the end. Also, it is the responsibility of everybody in the company. You see something suspicious, you have to report it. There should be a way for you to report that. The weakest link in any network, in any computer network, is the human, the users. And this is why you're going to see that 80% of the attack done through something called phishing email. Phishing email, they send you an email, seem to be like coming from your boss, from somebody you know, and there's an attachment, you open it and you're done. And they get access to your account. And this is when we talk about some of the examples. The fear factor here is a big thing. When we talk about phishing emails, promising virus protection, or phishing emails promising you that they're going to give you an appointment for vaccination, which is free, but you have to pay me this one. I've seen so many of them. You're talking about the Olympics, in Tokyo, and they'll give you a ticket for this one. Japan will never accept anybody from outside Japan. The ransomware attacks is a huge thing. The Bay Area is really the home of few of the famous ransomware. Ransomware is somebody access your account, access your network. You're a company, they access your network, and then they encrypted all the files. And they will give you a certain time to give them money, cryptocurrency. They will give you the decryption key. If not, they're gonna wipe it out or have it, released to the on the internet. And it's now their favorite. It came back because of the cryptocurrency. You send them the the Bitcoin, they go and cash it outside the United States, all in an electronic way. Nobody can trace it. You can see it. You can see it going from one wallet to the other, but you cannot do anything about it. That's the thing. Okay, the last one is blockchain, and I wrote a book about the blockchain. And blockchain being tainted by the concept of cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, the fluctuating, and all these things going on with the blockchain. Blockchain is the underlying technology for the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just one example, just one application for this. In a very quick explanation for the blockchain, this is an example to understand the blockchain system and the current system we have. You have an office with 100 employees in that office, and there is that main door, and there's security guard, and the security guard will have a list of people with names and pictures. And I will go there, they'll check my name and my picture and look at my ID, which is basically username and password, and I can get in. Once I'm in, that's it. Nobody will check after that. This is the current system. This is the centralized system. If we apply the concept of blockchain to that building, everybody in that building, all the staff, will have the same copy as the guard, as the security guard. So if that security guard being manipulated, didn't pay attention, bribed, and I cry to him or her about getting in, and then I'm in there, then I'm gonna find that multiple people will check that list to make sure I am who I am and I should be, and I'm okay to be in that building. If enough people, if you have the first one, second one, third one, start talking about it, and they start talking to each other and say, do you see his picture or name there? If they say no, then through a protocol, and this is the technical name for the protocol of the different computers that have the same copy of information, something called gossip protocol. They talk to each other about it. Now, the first few computers decided I'm not gonna be here, then they're gonna tell me you need to get out. If I start doing the same thing I did with the security guard by bribing that, or by hacking into a few computers and changing them, you're talking about 100. By the time I'm going through 10, it's going to be done. It's going to be over in this case. They're going to kick me out of that. And this is the concept of the blockchain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 4 ways that blockchain actually helped with COVID-19 very quickly, because I think we have a few minutes to go. Number 1 is the tracking of the infectious disease outbreak. Now, just remember that if you enter data into a network of blockchain, you cannot change it. It's immutable. You cannot change it. And there will be copies of this data all over the network. And the network could be thousands of computers. So if a government tried to suppress that information, censor that information, they cannot do it for all the computers because they're scattered all over the world. So we can track that. Now, how's that going to apply to a situation like COVID-19? Hospitals, CDCs, health centers, they will be connected and they will be uploading this information. Have this information added to the network. Now you're gonna have a tracking system for that. So we know that, and it's verified. There's nobody can change it. And also the other one is donation tracking, exactly the same concept. When people donate that, the money will be, the flow of the money, the way we spend the money will be tracked, will be entered in a ledger, and this ledger, you cannot change it. And this is the key thing about blockchain. Once it's in the system, it's over. Crisis management through something called smart contract. Smart contract is a software. Blockchain is a software, and smart contract is a software. You add it at the top of the blockchain, and if the number of the cases anywhere in the world is above a certain threshold, a warning will be sent to everybody. So no government can hide it. No agency can hide that, because each hospital is reporting this, not knowing what's going on in the other country, and now we're going to see this. And the smart contract is automated, so immediately there will be flags, there will be warning. The travel to that area will be blocked because this is part of the agreement, and this is what's going to happen with crisis management. Instead of every country is trying to manage this one on their own. And the medical supply chain. We've seen what happened to those, protective gears, how they travel, and they travel in a secret planes, and sometimes they're worried that somebody gonna hijack those planes or take those, trucks. When we start receiving the vaccine from Pfizer, I remember that those trucks, leaving Michigan. Each box have two sensors. One of them is the temperature sensor. The other one is GPS. So if somebody took any one of those boxes, we know exactly what it is. And also the temperature, if it dropped, if it's more than a certain number, then this box is not good. And this information recorded in the blockchain. So somebody can go and track back that information. Nobody can modify it. And it's not something that you can write it on a piece of paper and then hand it to the next station. It's automatically sent through the network, and registered in the blockchain, and everybody who have access to that network can see it. So that's another part of looking at how the blockchain can help there. And this is just an example of what I talked to you about, guys. Okay, this is the references, and this is my contact information. You are more than welcome to connect with me or email me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. This is my email, San Jose State. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have over 42,000 followers, so I'll leave this one for you a second, and then I'll see if there's any questions from this wonderful audience.